I am not of the opinion you're paying any more than you would have, because the labor bill was simply separate from the material bill in the prior month.
So it wasn't an oversight for us. We had intended as a district to be able to install it ourselves and found that we do not have that capacity and now are seeking labor
But they have
to
done
install
that
it.
before.
That is accurate. I would not describe this as an oversight. I would describe this as us pressing pause and really examining whether or not we had the capacity to self-perform.
The pricing for the labor and the materials is both coming from the Greenbush Purchasing Cooperative Agreement.
Right. I just think it's because it looked like when we came and we voted for this last month, it was like, okay, we're going to get these units. It's going to cost us 70 some odd $1,000, and it's all said and done because it basically included the self labor. And now we're coming back in front of our constituents going, oops, we can't do that. We're now going to be spending $73,000 more out of our budget to do what we said we could do. So I just, wanted to have clarification so everybody else could understand the reasoning behind why that was. And, granted, it could be safety reasons. It could be we don't have the equipment to do it reasons and things like that. It's just, I think our constituents are owed that reasoning. Thank you.
But also as weather gets better and booking gets done, prices will go up continuously as.
Well, yeah, we
the
have a
time
30 day,
goes.
we have 30 days on this. This is why this wasn't talked about then, because we were told we could do it then.
But you're not suggesting that like a quorum or any coma violation happened? There
No.
was no.
I don't know where we're at.
We are requesting approval so that we can move forward with the work, as it does necessitate board approval.
So I'll make a motion to approve. I'm trying to work off of my own tablet on this, so it's not as fun. I'm making a motion to approve the building controls and services for the labor to put the rooftop units on is $73,030.
Second.
A motion by Mrs. Murphy and second by Mrs. Reed on the roofing unit contract. All in favor?
Aye.
7-0. Go back to where we are now.
Chartwells.
You're ready for item 9.
Looking for a glass so I can look for it. Yeah. Oh, are the Chartwell people here? Chartwell update. Presenting.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you for the opportunity to present a child nutrition update at tonight's board meeting. I'm Sandy Curran, and I'm the Director of Dining Services for Chartwells at Leavenworth Schools. I'm new to this role and have been at Leavenworth for 2.5 months. I have been in food service for the past 25 years and last 8 years in K-12. Tonight, we're going to talk about the partnership, highlights, results, what's next, and leave some time at the end for questions. What do we do here at Leavenworth Schools? First, we serve breakfast, lunch, and a la carte meal options for students and staff every day. When you came in tonight, I hope you were able to enjoy a sampling of what is offered in the cafeteria. We featured our pulled pork in the Big City Barbecue Station at the high school. There were also sandwiches on the So Deli or offered as an alternate entree at all the schools. Fresh fruit and vegetables are offered daily on the menu. Next, we prepare and cook food on site with mini meals made from scratch. Our pork slow roasted, our ground beef comes in raw, pizza's handmade, dinner rolls and sub buns are baked fresh in-house. We ensure that all meals are compliant with USDA and NSLP guidelines. We have a system called Webtrition that helps us with these standards, making sure that weekly menu is compliant with the guidelines, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. We recruit, hire, train, and support a team of amazing cafeteria associates. We can't do what we do without a team. Hiring is an ongoing process to make sure we have the right people in place. So we do offer versus serve. The goal of offer versus serve is to reduce food waste while allowing students to choose the foods they wanted to eat. For breakfast, you can see 4 items will be offered for breakfast every day, and students can choose their preference, but must take at least 3 main food components with at least a half a cup of fruit or vegetable. At lunch, we have 5 components. They must take 3. You can see the different components: grains, fruits, vegetables, milk, and meat alternative. The National School Lunch Program is a meal program providing nutritionally balanced meals to children at public and nonprofit schools. Administered federally by the USDA and locally by state agencies through agreements with school food authorities. We ensure that the meal requirements are met, that compliant meals are served, so that Leavenworth Schools gets their funding. Next, Casey is going to talk about our team.
So up here, you'll see a picture of Sandy, your new dining director. And then we also have Taylor Hornsberg. He is a director in Wagner, Oklahoma, and helped very much with the transition from Johnny to Sandy. So you may have seen him running around schools, but he is another director who is also a chef and a dietitian that does support Leavenworth. We also have Catherine Thayer. She is our regional chef. She helps with purchasing and getting everything that we need through Cisco and our broadline purchasers. We have Meredith Fowler. She is our regional dietitian. She's the one that helps us make sure that all of our meals are compliant. Everything is under the guidelines of the USDA. And then we also have Savannah Viernes. She is our marketing guru. So all the digital signage and all the signage that's up, she is a part of that. And then me, I am the area director for Kansas and Oklahoma.
Very good. Okay, next we're going to talk about some of our partnership highlights. One of the most exciting events that we had this year was the Culinary Throwdown, held on February 14th at the high school. 8 culinary students battled it out in a fun chopped competition. They were presented with a mystery basket, included biscuit mix, ground pork, cheddar cheese, eggs, and a mystery ingredients of the Valentine hearts. Yes, the chalky ones. And so they had to make delicious dishes. Each team had a chef mentor from the culinary school at the Pioneer Career Center and had 30 minutes. Chartwells gave each participant a chef coat, hat, apron, and were presented with their own knife kit after the judging. All the chefs did a wonderful job and created some amazing dishes. Another fun event we held in April at the high school was the Student Choice event. What do you want for lunch? That's the question that students are being asked. Through Students' Choice, students can now taste and vote on new restaurant-inspired items to add to the menu. So there's a tasting event followed by a voting period. We sampled 2 concepts, Big City Barbecue and Bok Choy. Bok Choy is an exciting sensory experience of Asian flavors inspired by celebrity chef Jeff Tila. We featured pot stickers, and the barbecue we featured wings and sauces. So the winner was the Big City Barbecue, and this concept will be featured this Thursday in the cafeteria with wings, variety of barbecue sauces like you've seen tonight, coleslaw, cornbread muffins, and baked beans. Students loved the samples and had a fun voting in the process.
My kid's going to be so mad. She wanted those pot stickers.
Yes, we will. We also had a lot of fun student engagement days at other schools. You can see one of these was the National School Breakfast Week, celebrating the importance of nutritious school breakfast in fueling students for success. So we encourage students to eat breakfast for a healthy start to their day. Some of the pictures are students eating breakfast and some of the winners of the breakfast prize bags. Students were randomly selected based on eating breakfast every day. Other fun events can be seen on our newsletter in March, and I had copies up front, and you can take one as you leave. This month in April, we have celebrated March Madness Final Championship Tournament game with Slam Dunk Taco Tachos, opening baseball season with Game Day hot dogs, National Carrot Day with carrot fries, very similar to regular fries, and the students, especially Brewer, they really like them there, and National Grilled Cheese Day. So on the next picture, you can see we received a beef grant in this picture, and Bree, she's the lead at Brewer, is pictured just after cooking off 50 pounds of raw ground beef. The beef is used in the student favorites, nachos, tacos, and sloppy joes. At Richard Warren, students say their favorite lunch is Taco Tuesdays. And so also at Richard Warren is the lead in the picture, and it's Taylor. And Taylor just completed her hypo training. It's an hourly hypo program that offers our high-performing hourly associates the tools and knowledge needed to grow into their next position. We are thankful for the school partnership and community engagement opportunities that we've had throughout the past year. In March, we served the foundation lunch at the high school. The cookies that you had tonight were part of that, of the buffet. We're part of the cookies that we served at that luncheon, and they're always a crowd favorite. We catered chili for the Richard Warren's Chili Cook-Off, provided food for staff picnic, as well as numerous other catering events that Chef and Director Johnny prepared. We've already talked about the Culinary Throwdown, but we were also proud to serve on the FACTS Advisory Board. The next one is pairing scratch cooking with batch cooking. These are all fun pictures that we've taken from the schools representing the extras bars, the Sona Mexican station, and the Tomato, the pizza station. So food service by the numbers. On an average, we serve 930 breakfasts per day. So far this school year, we've served 161,183 breakfasts. Lunches, an average of 2010. This school year is 356,824. You can see the figures on the beef grant, and you can see we have 26 Chartwell's employees and 18 district employees. So we serve up happy and healthy, and here's a few of our valued team members. We'll be celebrating them and the entire team on School Lunch Hero Day in May. Okay, so what's next for us? Number one is a new fall menu will be released. We're collecting information about the favorites, and just like student choice, love it or lose it. We have several new recipes that will be featured. New fun days in Global Eats and Mood Boost and Discovery Kitchen will be built into the menu, and you can see that in the following slides. We have some new a la carte offerings at the high school. We're going to be opening up a new coffee bar, iced coffees and cappuccinos, and then after some electrical work gets done, we'll have hot brewed coffee at the high school. New smart snack compliant beverages and snacks will be offered. That features our vanilla and our yogurt parfaits and smoothies, some of them that you sampled tonight. The last thing is building a strong team. We have a team of good leads, and we want to grow on supporting them in their roles and to hire good team members to help them. We're planning some fall lead training to share knowledge, train, encourage feedback, and set goals. We're also doing an August reset training for all the staff to make sure they understand expectations, culinary training with regional guest chefs, and accountability. We're encouraging strong relationships with leads and good relationships with schools, partnering in monthly meetings with principals, quarterly meetings with students, and focus groups.
So one of the things that we got feedback from the most recent survey is that students in Leavenworth want to know more about food. They want more education when it comes to food. And so we have some pretty awesome programs at Chartwell's that we are going to be rolling out for next school year. First one is Global Eats. This is cuisine from around the world. So this is primarily targeted to elementary students, and we have had chef guests make and curate some menus that are part of the part of their culture. So we've got multiple different ones. So one of the cool things about this is we give out swag. They have little passports. They get to sample food from around the world, and they get to see and learn about the culture that has created that food. Next, we have Mood Boost. And so we'll be doing this every Monday. So Mood Boost Mondays. What this is teaching, and this again, primarily targeted towards elementary students. And so it is showing the correlation between the food that you put in your body and how it makes you feel. So these little moody characters at the bottom, we have calm, alert, happy, and then we have looked at the nutrition information and paired food for these fun activities that go along with making yourself confident. Maybe before a big test, let's try eating some of this food. So it really pairs the education and how it makes your body feel. Next is Discovery Kitchen. So these will be on Wednesdays, and this is more of a what goes into your food. So we take some raw ingredients. We talk to students about the raw ingredients. Smell this. Where does this come from? What do you think this feels like? Can you compare it to something? Is it sweet? Is it sour? And we let them touch and use their senses. And then we let them help create. We have them help mix. We have them help build. And then at the end, they get to sample the product or the food that they made. And we can even send home little recipe cards so that they can help make it at home, show parents what they did in class that day. It's a great education tool. And so that is one of the things that the students really wanted us to do. So we are integrating these into our menu next year in the fall. All right, so a little bit more about Discovery Kitchen. So each month is a theme. And so we have all sorts of marketing and fun things that go with it. So with March, it was plant power, and you saw the Taste the Rainbow food that was out here. We had all the colors that were available to you. And so we want to, each month we take and we focus on that topic and teach the students what so next month this month, April, will be a waste warrior. So one of the cool things that we have is, did you know that you can eat an entire apple, even the core? It's okay. And so we use these kind of fun little did you knows to help the students realize that we can consume more food and not waste as much of it. So that's part of our Discovery Kitchen lineup. So beyond that, so for the higher level students, I hope you guys were able to see some of the really awesome pictures that Sandy and Chef Jean were able to take whenever we were doing student choice. So this gives a say to these students that say, what do you want on your menu? We're going to listen. We're going to let you try. We're going to listen, and we're going to put it on there. So some of the concepts, and Sandy spoke about Big City Barbecue and bok choy. So we also have Roost, which is, everything chicken. We have chicken dippity sauce and all sorts of stuff. We've got Made to Melt, that is everything cheese, so think grilled cheese and all the stuff that goes with it. We've also got Market Fresh with tons of different types of salads, healthy, fresh food. And then, Butcher and Baker, we also have, it's kind of think Subway, so kind of mixed with that ciabatta type bread, the fancy breads with the deli meat. So those are all student choice concepts that we can integrate into the main line on top of the tomato, the pizza line that you see every day, or the American Classic or Create, which is your typical, everyday lunch line, on top of So Deli that we have alternate foods. So their sandwich is already out. And then Sono, of course, which is a fan favorite of the nacho line every day, right? All right, so next is continuous innovation. What are we doing? So on top of all of this stuff, we've already spoke about running a new fall menu, incorporating all these programs for the students. We are also going to pour into our team. We are going to be doing trainings and getting them certified, things like ServSafe. Lots of things that we have to elevate our team members to be that higher level. We've got programs, and then we will be pulling communication from Chartwell's to make sure that everybody is on the same page, so beyond that, we'll be managing costs and driving revenue. So that's something that we're looking at increasing participation. So one of the ways we do that, we do the fun days, we do the student choice, we do the activities, and we also reinvent the menu, which is what we are striving for. So we are really hoping that does bring in some more students eating in our cafeterias every single day.
Very good.
And communication is the last thing. It's important. We want to do a better job of communicating what we're doing through social media posts, monthly newsletters, up-to-date websites, our NutriSlice online menus, and board reports like this one. So let's talk about it. Do you have any questions at this time?
May I make a comment?
Yes, please.
After all the years that I've watched Chartwell's and other companies put forward where they have the educational program pieces and things, and us being with a partnership with Chartwell's now, I'm really excited to see this actually transpiring finally, because I know it's going to mean a lot to what the kids do eat to fill their tummies versus what they don't eat. So thank you for that.
We're very excited. We're very excited.
So where does the Discovery Kitchen portion come into the kids' school day?
That's a great question. So there's a couple different ways that we can run that. So there's your kind of typical what is normally done, and we set up in the cafeteria, and typically the students are kind of there for 10, 15 minutes, so that way you can kind of engage a whole group of students and kind of pass things around and talk to them. Another way that we could do it is maybe take 2 or 3, 4th grade classes, join them all at one, and then go into a classroom and really have kind of just, 40 to 50 students right here being able to really focus in and maybe take about an hour of time and teach about it that way. So there's multiple different ways that we can do this program.
And then is it one of your outside staff that would be coming in and facilitating that? Or is it one of the students' everyday people that they have contact with all the time?
Both. It can be both. So when we were starting this up, we were going to have some support because, Sandy, as you know, is new. And so we want to make sure that she feels very confident doing this. So in the very beginning, we'll have some support, some chefs coming in. We are looking at hopefully training our own Leavenworth team members to be able to execute these programs as well. Because when they have a better knowledge of what we do and how we do it, they're able to pass that down to our students.
So saying that in itself, aren't they already super stressed for time to be able to prepare and do their normal duties and be able to serve the students? Not that I don't want them to do that by any means. I think that's fantastic. Where are they going to come up with the time to be able to do it?
Okay, so these are not just things that happen. Okay, so what we would do, first we would look at our available and able staff members, which ones are available to do this. Next, we would make sure that the menu of that day is made in such a way to where if something happens, they're still able to follow through. So it's not just, here's the program and this is what we're going to do. There's we're not going to do it on truck day. We're not going to do, there's days where we're going to make sure that no matter what happens, we're still able to facilitate it.
And then how is staffing going right now?
Staffing is a struggle, but we were able to put out an ad. It was a sponsored ad, so we were able to get a lot more applicants than usual. And so Sandy has done a fantastic job of interviewing, and we just recently hired 8 people with, at the end of the school year. And so right now we are fully staffed. Yeah. And I'm not sure if you saw, but Jason Godwin, he's a chef. He's a regional chef as well. So he will be helping in the school this week. We are looking at opportunities for training and areas of additional support that are needed. So he'll be in the schools helping out as well.
Now,
I went out and ate at the high school and middle school back in the fall and talked to kids and it seemed like there were the same thing was the best thing there was the burritos, pizza, and the nachos. That seemed like, and people are actually starting to need more salads, looks like, kids are. But the only thing that popped up out there, they were complaining. I don't know do we supply the microwaves or do you guys supply the microwaves?
No, that's a district facility.
Because there weren't very many microwaves. We only like 2 in the high school kitchen. I don't even remember seeing any in the middle school.
Back at the cafeteria.
Well, I don't know if that's a big issue, but if we have to do that, we can get some more. But
They're a
issue.
district provided fixture.
Now, this is more of a district issue than it is Chartwell's, but I know that there's several parents complaining that the lines are still really long, and by the time some of the kids get their food, they're told they have 2 minutes to eat it because it's time to get up and leave. Are we, or should we start considering changing our meal times, maybe broaden it slightly? I know it may take a little bit from quote instructional time, but if we had a TV in there and put on an instructional movie, maybe we can make lunch instructional while social and they getting to eat rather than rushing through like they're in a chow hall.
Yeah, there was a lot of complaints and they were from several buildings as well as several age groups, not just one or, so I don't know.
It goes from elementary. I didn't see a lot about high school, but it definitely goes up through elementary through middle.
I don't know if we're doing enough of staggering or what the problem is, but
We are aware of the issues related to our efficiency. I acknowledge they do not rise to our standard either. And we have already begun, I would say, an internal investigation as to what changes can be made. And I applaud Sandy. I sent that to her on Tuesday, and by Wednesday, she had already taken corrective action at least 2 buildings. So I would argue it is a district issue. But Chartwell's has said to me they want to be a partner in finding solutions. I don't believe it's appropriate for kids to only get 2 minutes to eat, if that's true. I don't believe it's appropriate for kids to spend 12 minutes in line. I do believe you should have efficiency in the lunchroom, and we should prioritize time to eat, time to digest, et cetera. So we do share the concern, but I would also tell you that we are already making steps to take corrective action.
thank
You're
you.
good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, item number 10, strategic plan highlight.
Well, good evening, and thank you for letting me share a couple of highlights and exciting things to brag about in our district. Last month, we looked at how we teach phonics and our early literacy. This month, we're going to go to the other end of the spectrum and talk about some of our high school CTE programs and how they support our students after graduation. All right? So, when you think about the strategic plan, of course, this follows under the teaching and learning umbrella. And the action step that this falls completely under is creating these career and technical opportunities and experiences for our secondary students. So back in 2017, we began hearing the phrase Kansans can. And Dr. Watson went around the state and shared with us this vision of success no longer being just defined by a 4-year university enrollment. That success can look in many ways. Our district embraced that as well and came up with a similar motto for us to use here in Leavenworth, that all pioneers should be 3E ready upon graduation, which means they're ready to enroll, enlist, or be employed without the need for remediation in there. And so one of the things that's a really strong point of why we support CTE education is the benefits that come with it, not only for our workforce, not only for our community and the earning power of the future of a graduate, but also just for the number of experiences, the soft skills it teaches, and the opportunities that students have in our CTE programs. So this is one of the new icons you might have seen. Kansas KSDE used to have like kind of a yellow sunflower, was similar. This is the up-to-date one. You will see that we have 7 major industries that our state has identified. And each of those industries are based on the National Career Framework from there. And then the goal is at the elementary level to provide exposure and knowledge. So kids begin to think, well, what do I want to be when I grow up? What do I want to take in middle school? What can I do in high school? And then by the time they get in high school, they've narrowed down some of their field choices to really explore deeper. Now, no one is going to tell a child, you have to go into this field or you have to go into this field. We want them to experience. But also with the rising cost of tuition, the rising cost of schooling, we want to help families be able to get as many credits, opportunities, resume builders, and hours ahead of them and certifications before they graduate from high school. So of the 7 major career industries in Kansas, we have 16 career clusters, all right? And in those 16 clusters, the ones that have the blue stars are ones that Leavenworth High School has a pathway in. The only area we don't have a pathway in is agriculture, all right? But the others we do, and you see those kind of listed there. Within that, in each of those 7 industries, 16 clusters, we have 32 individual pathways. And from there, LHS currently has pathways in those that are listed there. Now, some of those classes are taught on site on Leavenworth High School. Some of the classes are taught at PCC, all right, or other post-graduation establishments, organizations. So the goal is in a pathway that by the time they're junior and seniors, their hands are in it. They're getting to experience what it might mean to have a future career in one of these fields. And these are Leavenworth kids doing actual activities that we have currently in our district. So from there, a couple of things I want you to know about a pathway creation. Because why can't we just have them all, right? Because I want to offer as many options for our students as you do. But there is quite a bit of groundwork that goes into a pathway creation, as well as requirements. So in every pathway, you have to have 3 specific levels of courses. One is that introductory level. That's where you gain that general knowledge. The technical level is where you gain very specific skills to a very specific field. And then your application level is where you get to do it. And in that could be in an internship type situation, a client-based project, some type of a consumer project, something that's created or done that links to a potential future for one of our high school students. On the other side of that, every pathway must have its own advisory group. And in this advisory group are people in the field of some career in that pathway that are well respected in their field. They serve as an advisory, role model, mentor, and opinion giver for our high school staff in there. And they kind of provide that real world perspective on what it really means to be in a career in that field. So I want to absolutely give a shout out to all of our advisory committee members and say thank you for serving our students. Thank you for supporting our pathways. Thank you for being part of our Pioneer family, supporting us in this. And then I want to introduce you to someone. I'm going to ask her to stand real quick, Miss Durden. I will tell you, she is new this year. And if you have not had a chance to meet her, I encourage you tonight, do not let her leave this building without you getting to know her. She is absolutely on fire and has such a passion for career and technical education. She has several years experience teaching more in the science fields. But since coming to Leavenworth, she has single-handedly been responsible for writing many grants that have helped us financially, providing a passion and spark to looking at our coursework and aligning them, making sure we're up to date and everything aligned with our state mandates as they updated this fall. And then also aligning our IPS work. Because your IPS, your individual plans of study, should align to options that you have. So students are well aware of when they're in middle school of what options they can have in high school to meet some of those goals. So we're super excited. Gila is a pioneer. And like I said, please take a moment tonight. As I go through the next part, I want to be completely transparent that this next part is 100% Gila's work. I don't want you to think for 1 minute I created this, okay? So I just want to say that up front. And one of the things she created once being here is this idea of this Discovery Trail Guidebook, which is an invaluable resource for families to be able to access when you're talking to your middle school students about, okay, so what do we want high school to look like? What courses do you think you might be interested in? I don't know, maybe something. I hear I got to take math. But in that, having those conversations where you can kind of really look at, okay, this is what you need to take your freshman year. So I emailed you, or Jake actually did, a copy of this guidebook. So you have a whole copy of all of them. But I want to take a moment to kind of look through and kind of learn how to read it. So each of the pathways has, or the trails, has this landing page that starts with the vista. And by definition, a vista is being able to have a mental view of anticipated events. So can you visualize what your high school career might look like? And then this guidebook is a tool for families to use to have those discussions with your child about, okay, What do we want this to look like? And so for tonight's just discussion purposes, I just pulled out one of them. You have copies of all of them. But the media and technology trail, and this starts with what your options are. So you see by grade level, if you are interested in being in this pathway, here are some suggested electives and options for you to take. Now, yes, you still have to take English, math, social studies, science, PE, health as a freshman. But then if you really think you might want to go into a technology field, you might also decide to do intro to web design media. And let's find out if that's something that interests you. Then from there, you will also see they have recommended electives that they would encourage you to explore. Continuing on with that same web design, web and digital design, you see that Ms. Doden has incorporated our 3E model and added a 4th E of experiences. So in that, if you were to be employed straight out of high school, here are some certifications and credentialing that this pathway would provide you. If you were to enroll, here are some prerequisites and some skills that you would have to go into either a 2-year or 4-year postgraduate work that would be able to benefit you. And then finally, as you know, we have a partnership and we work closely with PCC, which is a member of the Kansas City Community College campus. And those are the programs that are currently offered in there. And this is also in that handbook, so you have a copy of these things. And then finally, a part of it is, okay, so we have these classes, but where can I get involved in school? As Mr. Ernesty explained how important it was for some of his wrestling students to get involved and how you saw that grade point average, that commitment, that pride come up. The same is true of our students that are interested more in the business world or technical world. And so a couple of options we have are DECA and TSA that are currently active, but you see some other options that are there as well. And that is tonight. I wanted to give you an overview of our pathways. I wanted to introduce you to Ms. Doden and open to questions or comments.
I freaking love the guidebook, the way that it is laid out. It was so easy to follow and it made me excited. I'm definitely not having any more kids, but I loved everything about it. It was everything that we've seen in other districts, Pioneer specific, and exactly what our students can experience. The only thing I would like to see a little bit different, and maybe I'm just not seeing it in here the way that it already is, but on, which page was that? So on page 15, the Leavenworth Pioneers Discovery Trail, specific, the media and technology, where it says the math, English, is there a way to make it, it's like, I know that we can, within our accreditation for the kids, have like the intro to web design also be an English credit because they're doing something, or embedded credits. Like, is there a way that we can focus on trying to get more
To
of those?
expand that.
Yeah, because
Yes.
they're doing the work, they're receiving it, and we're, yes.
Well, and
Please.
also kind of along those lines, if you do try something, it's almost like you have to make that decision to go all the way through. But
don't
if you
think
had
so,
the embedded
because
credits, though, you could potentially, you start on a path and you're like, oh, I don't really like that. But because I know with my son, there's some things that he wanted to take, but he can't fit it in there.
Right.
And to get, the graduation requirements. And so that would be, is there any, is that at the state level? Like what, how do you do that?
It's yes, and it is at the state level. You have to show alignment to the core competencies of each class. We have a couple of embedded credits currently. It's something we continue to explore because I agree with you, especially if you know you have a kid. Currently, we have embedded credits in our mechanic Highland Diesel program for that very reason, because we couldn't get them through into the upper levels of Highland Diesel because we kept getting stuck necessarily trying to get these prerequisites and core classes out. So that is something we're exploring. There is a lot of work in that, so it will be slow go, so to speak, but we are definitely open to that and are looking at possibilities.
Well, I'm for one very happy Miss Dodden is on as a CTE coordinator. Just I have watched a rapid evolution in how everything's captured in together. It's married and it's moving forward. Well, before it was just kind of stammer stutter, and a sprinkle here and a sprinkle there, and it's may not be fully on one page with everything, but boy, it is a huge turnaround from what I've seen over the years. So I'm very impressed and very
Me
thankful.
too. Very thankful she's here.
What would be involved in the agriculture pathway? What are we missing?
Not
One, a
being in
desire,
the city.
because, numbers of students.
Mhm.
You see a lot of, it could be anything from some textiles, some agribusiness, machinery, all different kinds of things can fall into that. But right now it is not one of our highly requested. And so
Okay.
you make the decisions on what you can.
Greenhouse and chicken coop.
I'm going to just let that sit.
Start small.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to number 11, policy JBCC, non-resident capacity. Oh, wait.
All right, we're back doing enrollment. As far as you as a board this evening will approve the capacity as well as your open seats as is required by board policy JBCC that went in effect last year. So last year was our first year with JBC and the adoption of the non-residents. So I'm just going to walk through, kind of remind you where we're at and where we're heading. So September 20th, 2024, this past fall, you learned that we were down 213 students from the previous year. So this is exactly what was shared with you back in October at our student enrollment presentation. Here is the enrollment by building for the last 7 years, the trend. And you'll notice over the past 7 years that we are declining. So this last year, we reported 3,277 students. It's in line with the 3 previous third-party projections that we've had done. And so this is just so you could see where we're heading. And we are projected to continue to decline as a school district. To report to you what the educational capacity is. And so you'll see your current enrollment by building. As I remind you, we were down 213 students. Only one building showed growth, and that was the virtual school for this year, and they were up 2 students. Every other building showed a decline. So this is the same number, just showing you what the educational capacity could be and what it actually is. Based off of the information, we do our projections. So we take every student and we move them up a grade. So the 12th graders drop off, and you will see that we are projected again to decline. It's important to know there are about 4 grades that are really hard to project. That's your at-risk, or your 3-year-old, your 4-year-old, and your kindergarten, because they're not required in the state of Kansas to attend. Kindergarten is not required, 3-year-old and 4-year-old. The other factor there is 9th grade. Look at that significant drop that you see there. Why so large? In previous years, we had been able to count roughly 50 students from Patton Junior High. And so we did that last year, projecting that we would get those 50 students. Unfortunately, we only received 10. Not only is their enrollment down, but the few students that they do have are staying there. And so that number is significantly lower than we had anticipated, which increased our total number of students as far as the enrollment drop. So that leads us to the open seats. As you can see, as a result, and Dr. Adams is going to discuss this here in his presentation here shortly, the number of open seats is actually larger than last year. We there were only a few grades that we were not able to accept their non-resident just because it was a grade that already met your requirements. We have left the teacher to student ratio the same because we feel that these numbers are in the best interest of our students as well as our staff. So we did not increase any of them. And so these are our number of open seats based off of grades. And I will answer any questions you have. What will happen next if you approve this? You just need to say that you are approving the open seats, and they will be posted on our district website effective tomorrow. We'll get them posted along with our projections. So a parent, if they're interested in our district, they can see what seats we have open. Then they go into the lottery per policy JVCC, and then we would do our selection in July.
Does anybody have any questions for Mrs. Sloan?
I'd like to make a motion if there's no questions to approve the open seating.
Second.
Got a motion by Mrs. Murphy to approve the policy and seconded by Mrs. Wilson. All in favor? 7-0.
Thanks.
Okay, Chief, what you got?
Thank you.
We're going now to hear the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Amy. I'll be brief. 3 topics for you tonight. First of which is a reminder, April 28th. We'll be back here in this room. I show a 5:30 start time is listed. That will be specifically focused on next steps related to the Nettie Hartnett building. And so my request is if there are specific items, questions, if you will, research that we can be doing in advance of that, to please send those to me. That way we can attempt to be as prepared as possible for an efficient meeting on the 28th. Next meeting is May 5th. That is also a special meeting. So these are both specials. They fall outside of the regular education meeting cadence. May 5th will be 4:00 p.m., also in this room, and it will be dedicated to the needs assessment. So you'll hear from Mr. Bodensteiner first, followed by each building principal and at least one member of their DLT. Same thing, if there are questions or items that we can be doing in advance, would certainly encourage those to be sent so we can again make efficient use of our time. The final one, if you could pull up the other attachment, Josh, should be on. Thank you, sir. Is just a brief update of the topic we have talked about probably more frequently than anything else this year, as Zoom, if you are able to, sir. Thank you. So current status, I guess, as of today, there will be 43 less positions in this school district next year. That includes a 15% reduction in administration, a 9% reduction in certified, and a 4% reduction in classified. Payroll in or about $2.5 million less. You will see that we are just about to hit the $500,000 mark. So we are about to close in on the total budget savings of $5 million. I would stand for any questions. Thank you.
No questions?
When do you want us to have the Nettie Hartnett information questions to you?
I'm looking to Beth to confirm. We would like to publish that Thursday, the preceding Thursday.
Okay.
And so ideally we would have it then, so as to make sure, because the issue with it being a special is we will not be able to amend the agenda. Thank you.
Unscheduled patron input? None. Okay. So we go to board member comments. Ms. Murphy?
Wow, we've heard really exciting, hopeful news. We've been shown lots of progress in departments, in meals with our kids, in the CTE program, positives in our numbers of finances. Not much we can do about the numbers of lost enrollment. It's not like we can lasso them in and pull them into the building. I don't think they'd like that much. There's a lot of great things happening. Congratulations to all the students that were awarded at the academic. I missed that. I didn't get the memo till it was a little late. but that's okay. It happens. I want everybody to put their nose to the grindstone and finish strong for this year. I think it's still basically a really good year, and there's a lot of hope and good things, and we have a lot of things to look forward to before graduation. But also, please stay safe out there. Try not to ride your scooters in the middle of the road head onto traffic. That doesn't bode well either. But just be safe and study strong. And thank you to all the teachers. I know some things are really frustrating right now, and I do hope we can find a way to make some of that better. But it's going to take us a lot of brainstorming to figure out what a lot of the causes really are to get to the bottom of it. But we are working on it. Thank you.
Wolf,
I was a bad pioneer this week. I did not attend the play. I heard excellent reviews about the play as well as the art show. Thank you for having the panel in here, whoever was responsible for that. It's great to be able to see some of their work in person, not just online and pictures that have been shared. I appreciate all of the opportunities that the community has to come and celebrate our students. Spring sports is in full swing. Go watch a baseball game, softball game, come and watch soccer. It is always a great day to be a pioneer. And I do think that we, as a board, directly impact the desire for people to come to our district and enroll to us. And it's important that we sing the successes and try to make sure that we are making USD 453 the best place to come and teach and the best place to enroll your kids. And open enrollment should not hurt us. It should only impact us greatly to have people want to come and be a part of our JROTC program and all of the other amazing CTE programs that we have and are building, as well as our amazing staff that can impact students all over, not just here in Leavenworth. We cannot grow boundary-wise because we're landlocked and river locked. So we have to show them what a great place we are. So that's all I got. Oh, I do have one more caveat. I needed to say this whenever Chartwell's was here. My question is, I had noticed in their presentation, they were talking about opening a coffee bar. How will that potentially impact Einstein's work with the students with the Pioneer Perk over there? We need to be mindful of that because a lot of work goes into that, and we don't want to be competing with our food service with our program.
It is my understanding from Chartwell's, they do not intend to serve as a competition to Mrs. Einstein.
Okay, and I would hope that they are in talks with each other as well. Okay.
Like separate hours or something?
I'm sorry?
Like separate hours?
Separate hours or separate days. Yep. I believe Mrs. Einstein has the shared commitment to work with them. So I am not aware of any competitive environment.
Okay, good. And that's all I have. I apologize.
Ms. Reed,
I just wanted to highlight, nothing against our, state board member for education, but I'm not very impressed by KSB and maybe KSD or so. Brandy Watson, I'm not really sure, but there's been some things put out from the federal level. February 14th, there was a Dear Colleague letter, and then as always pursues lawsuits and things like that. But the U.S. Department of Education had a press release on April 3rd regarding a requirement for K through 12 school districts to certify compliance with Title VI. And I hope to see more from the state level as far as what that means for us as a school district. And so I would just encourage our fellow board members to look into it. That's it for me.
Ms. Wilson,
Just thank everybody who came out tonight, and track season started. We are now track family, so come out and support them as well. And then testing is also going on, so just make sure your kids are getting their rest and eating good and ready to go each morning. And we thank y'all for being pioneers.
Ms. Norby?
Always keep me last. I want to say congratulations again to our rifle team, our bowling team, and the wrestling team. I did attend the art extravaganza, and it was fabulous. Got to listen to jazz band and check out the beautiful art. And I also attended the Alice in Wonderland play, which was phenomenal. So thoroughly enjoyed that. We are entering the very, 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 very busy season. And I just want to encourage everybody not to get complacent, run through the tape, and remind everyone that all of us, each and every one of us, has a role to play in building a culture of steadfastness and competence and confidence and success. So remember, tomorrow needs you. So stick with it. And lastly, I'd like to say to those who celebrate, have a blessed Holy Week. Thank you.
Ms. Price?
Alrighty, as always, the best thing we can do as board members is recognize all of our super students and our staff that make them super students. So all of our recognitions through our sports teams, and then I really want to show a shout out to all of our arts programs, from music and band and the theater and the hands-on fine arts. Always amazing, blowing me away. They're just incredibly talented students, and I want to thank all of our teachers for encouraging them to be their best. Thanks to the Quest kids, because once again, we have snacks and they're amazing. Thanks for thinking of us. And then a reminder to my fellow board members, make sure you see Ms. Maddox before you leave to sign the 2 resolutions. I don't want to chase you down. And it's always a great day to be a pioneer. Thank you.
About this, I've never heard of this organization you're talking about, but I just want to go back in time when we had to sue the legislature to get equitable funding. And KSB was a big part of that. And they're there to lobby for the school district. They're not there to pad their pockets, I don't think. But I just don't know when they got started, who's funding them or anything like that. Probably, I don't know. But I just think you have to think about what we had to go through, and we still haven't gotten the funding we're supposed to be. So keep that in mind too. That we have to have somebody lobbying there. And I don't think each school district is going to send a lobbyist down to Topeka. That's all I got. Means adjourned.